Welcome to the Go Big and Go Home show. My name's Dustin Hill, and I'm here to help you discover and stick to your dreams while deepening the connections with those you love. Welcome back to the Go Big and Go Home show. I'm your host, Dustin Hill, and really excited to finish off this 3-day intro series to the podcast so you understand what the purpose of this podcast is. And so, again, the purpose is really to help you. In the first couple of days, we talked about, discovering your dreams and why that's an important piece. And then the importance of sticking with it, that, once you find that dream, that you really need to continue to stick with it. There's going to be challenges that come. And so I'll talk through that throughout, this podcast about how can you, stick to those dreams that you have and continue to push through those hard things that you go through. And so today, what we're going to finish up on is while you're, pursuing your dreams and sticking with it, it's really important to make sure that you have your family or your friends or the people that you love close. And, for me, obviously I'm dad of 4.5 kids, is actually pretty funny. So, which 4.5 means that there's one on the way. So yay. But, what's funny though, is the other day I actually had reached out to someone because I'm putting together this virtual summit and, was like, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And I just mentioned that I have 4.5 kids, and they responded like, can you explain what you mean by half a kid? And so I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, that means that we're having another kid and we're super excited about that. But, really to me, family is so important. It always has been important. But I want to go back to, the first time that I ever held my daughter in my arms for the very first time. So I remember being in the hospital, that day. We got there like 9 a.m. and I just remember, Amy just being like, hey, like, I think we need to go. Like, hey, and we've been prepping for this for 9 months, right? This is go time. And so I just I remember the excitement of this, like, wow, like it's finally here. Our baby's finally going to come. And I remember running around the complex and then, running in to get to the car, and then we drive to the hospital. We get in there, and a lot of times in the movies you think, or like you see that where it's like, oh, they go in, baby's out in 10 minutes and then you're done, right? And it turns out like 12 hours later is when we actually got to hold our baby girl for the first time. But I remember when we were there, and we had this amazing nurse that was super awesome and really helped us through this whole thing. But I remember it being a pretty traumatic experience, that like watching my wife, who I love so much, seeing her go through so much anguish and pain, and me being a guy not being able to help at all. It's like, it's really hard. And I know all the ladies listening are like, okay, seriously, like you didn't feel anything. And I totally get that. I totally do. And I know that that's nothing in comparison to what all of you amazing women do. So thank you so much for what you do. But it was just a crazy experience of like feeling that, stress, and that, oh man, I wish I could help my wife, but I just can't. I don't know what to do. And I feel so bad about, all the pain that she's going through. But, I remember though, when finally our daughter came, and if you've, become a parent, then you know what I'm talking about. It's something that you truly cannot describe and you can't forget either. Like I remember seeing, Miley in that hospital room, and they take her out and they put her on the table and weigh her and see how long she is. And she's like super long, 23 inches long, like crazy. But, I just remember like, seeing her cry for the first time and seeing like this baby that I already feel like I know, like I felt like I've already have this relationship with this baby, and that, that moment when I get to see Amy hold her close, it was just so heart touching and just amazing. And then being able to hold Miley in my arms, it was just so amazing. And I just, it's one of those moments again that you can't forget. And the reason I bring that up is just, it's so important for us to remember the importance of the people that we love. I had the thought of, I really am excited to inspire people through this podcast. And I'm super excited to bring on some amazing people to grow the audience and to really just help more people to pursue their dreams, but also to really take care of their family. And, because I was thinking, like, let's say, we zoom forward like 5 years and it's like, okay, we have 1 million people, watching this and listening to this every week. And it's like, oh man, isn't that so cool? But imagine if I had, 1 million people listening to this, but I didn't have a family, that in the process of doing that, like I just lost sight of my family, and I was like, oh no, this podcast, like, and my business, like this is way more important. Just imagine that you have this amazing experience during the week. It's like, cool, have this awesome podcast and people are, excited about it. But then you go home and there's no one there. You're alone. There's no one to share it with. And while sure, you're influencing people, you don't really have that support and the really deep connection, that we all want. And so that's why I'm super excited, for this podcast, as well as, again, talking about those things, that how do you pursue your dreams? How do you stick to it? But then how do you really do that with having even a stronger relationship, with your family? And it's just, I know that, all these things together can work. And there's a lot of people that will say, oh, but like, you can't do it. You can't truly, be, pursuing your dreams and also be super successful at home. Like, it's just not possible. But that's, it's something that to me kind of bugs me. It's like, we talk about, work-life balance, and, a lot of times you think of that, it's like, okay, well, you have something up here that's really good. And a lot of times that seems to be work nowadays. But then your family's down here. And so how do you balance that? Well, balance is typically like, oh, you bring something down, right? If you think of the lever, or whatever they call it, like the scale, I guess. And so, you have to bring that one side down so the other one can come up. But I don't buy into that. Like, I really believe that it's truly possible to have an amazing, family life and life with people that you love, and to be super successful in the things that you love, and in your business and your career, whatever that is. And so, I'm really excited. And the other thing too, I just want to point out is that, huge shout out to all those stay-at-home parents, stay-at-home moms, especially. I know that there's not a lot of glory in that like in this day and age, it always seems like, being busy and working and, that career is like what's so important. But like, all of this totally applies to you as well. And maybe your dreams aren't to, do a business or to, progress in your career because you're at home with the kids, but maybe your dream is to, lose some weight, or maybe it's to go run a marathon or do something amazing. Right. And again, I just want to make sure that we all know that, being home with the kids is already amazing. And so I just really want to emphasize that point. And I'm excited to, on this podcast, also interview people that do stay home, right? Moms and dads that are at home with the kids, because to me, I think you're truly a hero. I really do. I remember back when I was at General Motors, so I was at GM and I was a software engineer there. I remember going to this outreach program where we were able to, share, do test drives essentially for some of our suppliers. And so it was really fun. I had the spark. And so I was able to, be in the car with people and tell them about it and just kind of get to know some new people, which was super fun. But I remember this side conversation that we had, while we were prepping for one of the events is, there were some ladies there talking. They're like, oh yeah, somehow we got into talking about, having kids. And they're like, yeah, like, well, I go to work, cause it's just like, it's hard, man. It's hard being, a parent at home all the time. And I know that really can be super hard. And so again, super, I guess I just want to give a shout out to all those amazing parents out there that do stay home, because I really think that, you are changing the world. But I just also know that it can be sometimes hard because you maybe feel like you can't dream and you can't pursue those things that you want to. And so that's what I'm excited to help you with as well. And so definitely hope that makes sense, that, it's not only people that like are doing amazing in their careers or whatever, they're already pursuing their dreams, how do they bring up their family life? But it's also those that, hey, you're already doing amazing at home. And so let's find that thing that's going to help you have even more energy. Because the thing is, as you are happier everyone around you is happier. It's contagious. And so really finding those things that help you to be happy and to stick to your dreams are super important. And so thank you so much. And I'm excited to, get on with these other episodes as we go forward.